Welcome to a very special episode of Market Proof Marketing, the International Builder Show edition of 2024. We're going to record this on the ride back from the hotel to the airport in the taxi, but you all were prepared, had your bags packed at the show. I had to go back to the Encore and get my bags. So here we are.
Forgot their luggage.
But this is more calm. It would have been fun to have the background noise of the cabbie going, what flight you taking out? That's not how they talk in Vegas. That's New York or Jersey or something.
That's New York.
All right. Yeah. So this will be quick. We just wanted to do a quick rundown of highlights from the week. Who wants to go first? Not it.
Yeah, go for it, Jackie.
Oh, thanks for the volunteer. Yeah, my biggest takeaways, I think when Julie and I were sitting at the airport chatting too, we just talked about if there was a theme of the year, it's the year of the dragon, it's the year of accountability. And that came across in almost everyone's presentation. And that accountability, I think, looks different for every company. Jenna Parker from Stephen Fine Homes, accountability in their company was posted notes of each houses and the progress. So everyone is accountable for marketing, building, where those houses need to be. And then other people, it was just blocking your time off. So that element of accountability was really reflected, I saw in almost every presentation. And that was nice to see. And then visiting Hierarch's booth, the biggest takeaway there, and I'm sure it's their slogan, but single source of truth. And that applies to home builders and their website and who grabs information. And again, that kind of goes back to the accountability is everything should have one single source of truth, and your buyers, builders, agents, everyone who's looking at it needs to be able to resource that. So just remembering that, don't hold back as much as you think and just create clarity, because clarity is kind, that we like to say. And then one of your takeaways, Julie, from your presentation that was sold out and had a line out the door, was building trust and building it together. The data point there was that 21% of people trust home builders. So how do we improve that? How do I identify how we can improve that? Because that's a pretty easy number to come back from, improving it from 96 to 97. Okay. But 21% to even what does 40% look like? And how can you bridge that gap and build those relationships with each home buyer? So those are my favorite takeaways from attending the classes there.
And Barbara Ray, who is from WIC Marketing, they did that research and she was in the room when I used it. So that was great. She came up afterwards and was like, thanks for using our research. So it was awesome.
Yeah, I saw her at the Nationals and she was like, yeah, and I go, and Jen's going to use it as well. And she's like, that's awesome. I go, hey, I don't know if we put the sourcing on the slide for WIC or not, but I'm pretty sure I remembered hearing them say this was from WIC Marketing. She's like, yeah, I think so. I go, well, just tell me if not, and then we'll have to fire people because we don't like to
I said WIC Marketing.
I got it.
I know you did. That's why I said it, because I knew I didn't want to fire you. No, that was awesome. Julie's presentation with Aaron and Rachel was yeah, it was really, really good. It was sad that a lot of people, I'm going to zoom out for a second, and then I'll let you go, Julie, and I'll go last. But this year, some interesting things about the show. They consolidated everything, sales and marketing, pretty much to the West Hall. There's West, Central, South, and North. So there's a lot of places you could be. They were kinder on our feet overall, putting it all in the West Hall. The trade-off of that is that it feels like a smaller conference overall. I just didn't really, except to just meet people, I didn't go to any of the other halls. And so it had more of a contained feel, which was good in that you saw everyone. It just, I don't know, it felt different to me, just because I wasn't in the mix of crowds of people all the time. That was one, just for those of you who've been before and maybe didn't get to go, something a little bit different this past year. The other thing was, the show in the past, when it comes to educational events, outside of ticketed events or master classes that require some form of reservation, it was kind of a, hey, you can go check out a session. If it's working for you or not, you get up and you go to the different session. That was not available at all, specifically on Tuesday. I'm pretty certain, not the people, and I'm sure the people, the folks at NAHB know this, but I think every single marketing session for the entire day, there were people who were turned away. Now, I didn't ever see a line quite as big as it was for yours, but there was a ton of frustration on Tuesday specifically from people who didn't come to walk the show floor and see booths, but to go to educational events who are like, I don't understand this. I flew here from 4 hours away and paid all this money to go to educational sessions, which it felt more like a Comic-Con, which I've never been to, but you know, other things like that where like you have to, as the British say, queue up for like an hour before the thing you want to go see, or overnight. Like I just hope that's not where we get to, where people have to like camp overnight and like hold their bladder in order to be able to hear Julie talk next year. That's my hope.
I'm just excited people care about content marketing right now.
Yeah.
That gets me excited right there. Just the fact that there was content marketing in it and people wanted to come.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. And it did get better on Wednesday and Thursday. I don't know if people gave up or they just had other things they were doing, but Tuesday was rough in terms of being able to get into sessions. In fact, I only went to your session, not because I didn't want to go in, but they're like, nope, if you weren't here 30 minutes beforehand, you're probably not getting in.
Yeah.
So that was a little different. All right, Julie. Your takeaways.
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize that the speakers apply to the Builder Show really early. Like here in just the next month or two, they're going to start talking about applying.
Yeah.
So that meant there was a lot of AI talk because that was kind of what was new then. But what I wrote down when I was writing down, you know, my notes for what I was going to talk about today was people are greater than AI, you know, I had the little greater sign.
Yep.
Because even with all the AI sessions and the fact that that's what people had based, a lot of the talk was still based around people and leaning into your customers and leaning into your team. And one of my favorite examples of this was Rachel Peters at Keystone doing the side by side of like a regular home photo and then a lifestyle photo of the same scene and how impactful that was. So for me, even though there was a lot of talk of AI, really in the end, it all came back to people. So, and Aaron and Rachel both did excellent jobs. Aaron also talked about, you know, having an influencer or a takeover, that sort of thing. So people are greater than AI. And that's kind of, Kevin's talked about that before.
AI evangelists are probably thinking to themselves, Julie, but you can use AI to put people in those shots as lifestyle. The problem is right now, and this will get better, right now their fingers would look like this.
Yeah.
Like it would just be weird, and they might or might not have a neck, and they may or may not have eyes facing the same direction. So
yeah, exactly.
We're still ways off.
One of my other favorites was Sam, Jen's son, was there.
Oh, yeah.
And he had, and I think Aaron's the one who said this, he has the beginner's mindset because he's an actual beginner. And it was so fun to see his excitement. And he was taking 20 pages of notes. And I think it like reminded us, people who've been to the Builder Show, you know, a dozen times or however many times you've been to the Builder Show, how exciting it is in the beginning and how exciting learning is and not being so, you know, critical of things. So I thought it was so much fun to watch him walk around and be so excited. And I think that wore off on other people who were around him. So shout out to Sam Barkin for that. And then my last one was similar to Jackie's in that collaboration seemed to be a theme in some of the talks. I went to that same one about streamlining and the one with the Post-it notes. And it was really just bringing your different departments together, bringing your team together, and all getting on one strategy and one plan. And so I thought the collaboration theme kind of rolled throughout.
Yep.
It was a good show overall.
It's a good show.
Yeah, I know, Jackie, in one of your posts you made, you talked about Angela McKay's quote about, you know, send the email that you would want to get. And I think that's where this is what people who don't work in marketing don't understand about marketing, is because they're not practitioners. They only think about marketing in terms of the outcome they want. And they really either can't or don't choose to process what does the customer want out of this. And that's why Cialdini's book on influence is so important. Is sure, we do it because of outcomes that we want to get to, but we have to influence the customer in a certain way. And the only way we're going to get their attention is either to pay for the attention, which you still have, but even when you pay for it, you have to have the right content to connect and influence them in the direction you want to go. So I thought that was a good one. And that was a fun session. I talked to Angela before and she's like, we're going to try to make it fun. It was fun. I thought Carrie and Meredith and Angela all did a good job on that one as well. Because I got blocked out of a lot of sessions, mine are not necessarily about sessions, but about a lot of conversations that I had with folks. The first one
Sometimes
is,
that's the best.
yeah, sometimes that is the best. The first one is that no one is an AI expert. That was kind of, no one had anything negative to say about any of the sessions, but there was just a general feel of, and it probably is, Julie, again, because you have to apply so far in advance. People were expecting that it wasn't going to be a conversation about AI or about this one specific trick that I'm going to show you that AI can do, but about like hardcore, tangible, plug this into your business tomorrow and just let it run. And because those weren't things that were shared in terms of this is, plug and play, here you go. There was some disappointment in that, but that's, again, I think the takeaway is not that presentations were not successful from that viewpoint, as much as just, this is something where no one's an expert, no one has all the answers. It's still evolving right now. Directionally, we know where it's going to go, but no one's an expert yet. The second one just got reaffirmed to me by an email from someone who watched my appointment to sales ratio video series on LinkedIn after the show, but I had conversations that were similar to this, and their endpoint was, this is awesome. I wish more people talked about this, but also, is it just that no one wants to hold on-site sales accountable the way we hold online sales accountable? Like, it just seems to be still more than okay for a salesperson to go, I don't know. I mean, I kind of use the CRM for this or that, or, have a meeting, but the like tracking of appointments, for example, which is still not an industry-wide practice at all, of, well, we track online appointments, but we don't track traditional appointments. And so there was a lot of conversation, not just because I was hanging out with marketers either, by the way, a lot of sales leaders saying, yeah, we're just not sure how to do this really. But on-site sales is just not being held accountable enough. That, again, to be overly clear, is not the fault of on-site salespeople. It's the fault of on-site sales managers and those who work with them, which leads me to my next point, which was, I mean, it's what you would expect. So a lot of talk about dysfunctional cross-department communication at the leadership level. And I want to try to be helpful here and just say specifically dramatic oversimplification of what a department or group of people do at a company. It's like, oh, accounts payable, you're the ones who just like send out checks. Oh, drafting, you're the ones who just draw on paper. And like, you don't have to talk to a customer. You just put on your headphones, look at your giant monitors and do stuff. Marketing, you're the ones who just, run ads that I don't see enough of and question whether you do it or not. So I think, again, it's our job on this episode is just to let you know what people are talking about. And that's something, as a leader, either dysfunctional leadership from the very top in terms of oversimplification down, that's kind of patronizing almost, of like, I mean, Jackie, we had someone who was like, new leadership comes in and says, well, online sales, you just like answer the phone when it rings and set appointments, right? So like, why do we need to have a meeting at any regular basis about this? Because it's pretty simple. And then my last one is I guess all of these are kind of what they are. Skepticism has become a learned skill in our industry. Part of me is proud of people for having developed that skill of being skeptical about what they're hearing or seeing from vendors, potential partners, et cetera. But the other end of this is like there were some things shared or talked about either on the show floor or in sessions where it was pretty clear that even the person presenting it wasn't quite sure what their product did or what their service does. And so it's like I don't want to wrap this up. The Builder Show is not a place to sell something. Now that's like a duh, thanks for saying the obvious, Kevin, but it's really not. And if you come to present / sell, it's never going to go well. Partly because skepticism has become a developed skill by a lot of people in the crowd, but also because you're like, the basis of education is just to share and inform. And it just doesn't work well. So I think there were some people, yeah, it would just come to share. Like I talked to some people in the hallway who, their job is to sell. So I get it. They're like, I'm coming to the show, and it's almost like they're trying to collect all the Pokemon or whatever. It's like they're talking to everyone, and that's just not, it's not what the show is about. And so you might add some context to your Rolodex, but the people coming are not there looking to buy. They're looking for ideas, and in particular, free ideas. So, and then our breakfast was awesome.
Good. It was great.
So
you can't hate sushi breakfast. So
if you're not part of DYC All Access, get in there because we found our home for the breakfast forever. It was awesome. Yeah, but Aaron Stepatich, or not Aaron Stepatich, Aaron Yarborough, I'm calling you out. Pizza for breakfast, warm pizza, like cold pizza for breakfast is a thing.
Yeah.
But I walked by and she had like a plate full of hot pizza. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, and she was so excited about it too.
Yeah, she was excited. And then there was, I don't have permission to use people's names except for Aaron. I don't care if I embarrass you. Someone else was like, I just want a banana. So we had the wide range of people, but that was great to see everybody there.
Great.
Next up, for many of you will be PCBC in terms of events, different kind of event, different feel, more of that to come. In terms of previewing that, the Builder 100 comes up this summer as well. Then we have the Online Sales and Marketing Summit in Chicago in October. Those are all the big
and now
events
that everybody's fresh off IBS, if there's certain education you were missing, let us know. So as we plan for Summit, we can keep in mind what people were.
We tend to try to lock in both speakers and topics. Speakers earlier, topics we try to lock in about 60 to 90 days before the show. 90 probably is better. So yeah, if there's something that you want to make sure you hear in Chicago, let us know. And then there will be a blog post shortly, probably by the time you're hearing this, of the entire team that went, all of their takeaways too. Because, if you know Beth Russell, she's listening to this shouting to the air of, this is what I learned. So you'll hear what she learned too, as well as Mike, Jen, and Jesse. All right, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.